If you were born between 1946 and 1964, you count yourself, of course, as part of the baby boomer generation that is the largest in American history. And boomers are aging just like everyone else. In March of 2018, the U.S. Census Bureau reported that by the year 2035, adults aged 65 and older will number more than 78 million. By comparison, kids age 18 and under are expected to total just 76.4 million in that same time frame, meaning that in a very short order, the number of seniors in the country will outnumber children for the very first time in American history. Hi, I'm Jim Costa. I'm a videography, photography, and technology guru, and I created this blog to help you to become a tech-savvy senior. My tips and advice are useful for anyone, but my specific focus is in helping seniors to become more familiar with technology to improve and better their lives. As baby boomers continue to age, many people will need some help in completing the daily tasks of living. Faced with the decision of how to address these needs, thousands are settling on the option of an assisted living facility. Now, definitions of assisted living vary from state to state and from facility to facility, but you can generally define it as another long-term care option for folks that generally don't need 24/7 skilled nursing care, which is what most long-term nursing homes provide. For many people, assisted living means they need help with some aspects of daily living, such as bathing, dressing, using the restroom, eating, or transferring to a bed at night, things like that. Assisted living really focuses on supporting individuals with those activities, but then also maximizing their independence and socialization in a home-like environment. Now, there are more than 835,000 Americans currently residing in assisted living facilities. So, what should you consider when you're looking for an assisted living facility? Well, first, start with the care needs for you or for your loved one and the offerings that each individual facility has. For families considering transitioning a loved one to an assisted living facility, the options are seemingly endless, but you should carefully consider several factors when determining which options are best. The most important factor to consider is what kind of care the person entering the facility needs and whether a facility you're considering can offer that specific level of care. These needs will vary significantly from person to person. The care that a particular facility can deliver will also vary depending upon state regulations and the focus and expertise of the staff at that spot. Because of the highly individual nature of these needs and what might be available locally, families need to be extremely clear about what the care needs are for the individual, both now and in the future. Because as you know, your health could change, your needs change, so you need to make sure that the facility can keep up with what you need now and what's down the road. To do this, I recommend that you talk to any doctors your loved one sees and the staff at the care facility you're considering about how care needs may change over time and whether the facility you're considering can evolve with you or your loved one. You should find out whether your loved one will be able to age in place or whether there are limitations in terms of how much care the facility can provide in the future. That's not a sign of a bad assisted living community. It's potentially part of state regulations to only let them take on so much medical care. And it may be a limitation that the state has set. But knowing this in advance can help you make a better decision. Second, you should consider finances. So other important factors to include, of course, is how you're going to pay for assisted living care. How much of assisted living costs private health insurance or Medicaid will cover varies from state to state, and most assisted living is private pay, meaning that many families will pay out of pocket for this type of care. Medicare does not cover long-term service and support, Medicaid sometimes covers these costs for qualified patients, and the coverage varies from state to state, so you need to check where you live to see what, if any, coverage you have. Costs can run into the thousands of dollars per month depending upon the particular facility and the resident's needs. You may have to cover all or much of this out of pocket, so it's important to find out what the facility you're considering costs and how those costs are structured. Again, this varies from facility to facility and likely depends on what level of care is provided. Some facilities use an a la carte type of pricing structure where you only pay for the services you use, whereas other facilities charge a flat rate to all residents for everything. Either can work fine, it's just important to know what you're getting into and how the lease or rental agreement will be structured. Now, if this is all making sense to you, put tech-savvy seniors in the comment section below. Third, you should consider the location and touring the facility. Now, the location of the facility is also very important to consider. It's going to become harder and harder to visit someone if, say, you're planning on taking a job and moving away. So it's a lot easier if they're located conveniently to whomever is going to be their advocate, such as an adult child, for example, or a spouse. Whether that's your spouse or an adult child juggling jobs, kids, and now their parents, these are all factors that you need to consider because you want to be able to visit the person conveniently if you need to. It also makes sense to tour the locations nearest to you. Taking a tour of the facility and meeting the staff and other residents is a very good way to get an understanding of what a particular facility is like and whether or not it seems like the right fit for your situation or your loved one's situation. Ask a lot of questions and seek unbiased opinions of people who have direct experience with the facility, such as residents and their families. This can help you to make a better decision. Fourth, it's very important to consider complaints and redress. You may also want to check on whether the facility has had any complaints. Checking whether the facility you're considering has had complaints and how quickly they were addressed can offer clues to how good it might be. The length of service of both management and the frontline caregivers should also be considered. Caregivers are employed by most assisted living facilities, but they don't make a lot of money and they're typically asked to do a lot of hard work. This can lead to rapid turnover of the staff. If you find a facility with caregivers who've been there for a longer period of time, that might mean that it's a better facility that looks after their employees in addition to the residents. And finally, consider the available activities at the location. You'll also want to consider what sort of activities and cultural offerings a particular facility or community offers and when they're scheduled. Limited time offerings may mean that residents will miss out on these important socializing and enriching opportunities if, for example, they have scheduled medical care at the same time each day or something like that. Good activity people really set the tone of the facility and its residents, and if the residents aren't being engaged by a certain program or certain offerings that the facility has, the facilitators will mix it up and try different activities to get more people involved. Asking how well attended activities are, what outings are offered, and how good they're managed are all good questions to ask when considering a particular facility, and also ask how often they change their itinerary because, again, if people aren't interested, there's no point socializing because no one's there. Now, if you found the information I provided in this video useful, please like it, comment below, share it, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jim Costa Films. If you would like more information on becoming a tech-savvy senior, or to see other videos and photos, you can connect with me by looking for Jim Costa Films on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and online. I currently have over 4,100 videos on my YouTube channel, Jim Costa Films, so feel free to check it out and see many of my other videos, including other Tech Savvy Senior blog postings. I also have a new Facebook group called Video Producers and Content Creators, so look for that on Facebook to connect there and join the group for even more pro tips and tricks.